People ask me all the time, how do you get into the corporate DJing world? Corporate gigs aren't like your typical parties. They're about professionalism, versatility, and making sure the event runs smooth. Let's break down what you really need to get in the game. Alright, so in this video, I'm going to give you guys a couple of tips on what it takes for you to get into the corporate DJing world. It's a lot, man, and you really got to be professional to really get into it. Number one, you need a professional image. First impressions matter. Now look, you don't have to wear a suit for every gig, but showing up looking polished and event appropriate is key. Corporate clients want to know you're not just a DJ, you're a professional. So sometimes that means slacks and a polo. Sneakers is okay. You know, it really doesn't matter for the most part, but just don't show up looking sloppy. All right, so always make sure you look your best. Number two, versatile music library. Corporate events are a mixed crowd. 1 minute you're setting a chill vibe for networking, the next you're turning up for an after party. Have clean edits, timeless hits, and tracks that fit any vibe. Flexibility is everything. I implore all DJs to have clean music, and you want to have good copies of your music. You don't want to just have YouTube rips. You want great quality, and make sure, once again, this is key, to have clean edits of all of your music. Doesn't matter, you need a clean edit, because most of these corporate events, you're dealing with Fortune 500 companies, or they're big on family events, and it is always necessary to have clean music. Also, make sure that your crates are versatile, okay? You don't want to just have hip hop, and you don't want to just have pop. You want to take the time to go through and gather hits from a lot of different genres and decades. Hits are always going to be hits. And just because you might be used to playing in clubs where you're dealing with 20 to 30 somethings, these corporate events are things where you're going to be playing for 40-year-olds, 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds. So you always want to make sure you have a diverse amount of music. I'm talking classic rock, pop hits. You want to have the hip hop. You want to have R&B. You just need to have everything, because you don't know what they're going to ask you to play. A lot of these events, especially like with me just doing the Super Bowl, they really wanted a lot of Motown sound and stuff. Luckily, my crates were set up for that, and I had a lot of Motown. So it is key that you are versatile with your music selection. And once again, please have clean edits, because you are not going to be in these corporate gigs running around with explicit music. It's just not going to work for you. Number three, top-notch gear. Your gear needs to be solid. Reliable speakers, backup equipment, wireless mics, the whole setup. And lighting, keep it simple but effective. Think ambiance, but not nightclub. And a lot of these corporate events, you're DJing for 200 or more people. Now, once you start getting into like the 300, 400, 500 attended events, usually what happens is that the corporate events will provide the sound for you. You're talking somewhere between like 8 to 10 speakers, 4 subs. You know, it's just not standard for somebody to have that type of equipment. But you do want to make sure you at least have 2 tops. I'm personally not a fan of subs, but you should definitely want to have 2 subs. Check out booth lighting to create an ambiance around the room. It is very key that whoever booked you for these events, you go out and talk to, because you're going to need them to tell you what their idea of the night is. And because you're a professional DJ and you've been doing this for so long, you'll be able to give them ideas and say, okay, that's cool, but this might work a little bit better. But you always want to make sure your gear is top notch. Make sure your computer is great. Your speakers, a lot of the things now, I was using the speaker covers, because you want to look professional. You just don't want to have a bunch of speakers stacked up everywhere on stands. That doesn't really look professional. It doesn't look like you know what you're doing. So make sure everything works. Highly suggest getting some wireless mics. I got a pair of Shure. I'm not sure of the model number, but I got a pair of Shure, 2 of them things. Just because you never know, people do like the host. You can run those through a board. One of the things I've started doing recently is that I have a whole audio mixer separate, because you don't really want all the sound to come out of your board. It's easier now for me to just plug all my equipment into the audio mixer and run through there, and then I can control everything, and then everything has kind of like a nice sustained level and balanced sound for the entire event. Number 4, you want a strong online presence. If you want corporate clients to take you seriously, Firstly, you need a website, not just an Instagram, an actual site with your bio, event photos, client testimonials, and maybe even a highlight reel. Show them you've done this before, even if you're just starting out. A lot of the production managers don't have time to do a deep dive into you. Your online presence is your resume. Stay up to date and post content often. I've recently run into this, and really, it's like I'm saying, your website, your social media is your resume. A lot of these people are just going on through Instagrams to see what you have already done, and it helps to show that you've worked for these big time clients already, to give them an idea that you know what you're doing. A lot of them are not going to have the time to sit down and hear how well you mix or listen to anything. Like at best, they'll probably go through your website, and hopefully you have mixes up, and they'll be able to just kind of piece and hear what it is that you play at these gigs. So I also recommend recording mixes at gigs if you can, just to throw those up, just to show that you have a versatile style. If you have a YouTube, I would suggest throwing mixes up in different genres, just to show what it is that you can do. And you just really want to be able to have people click onto something and have all the information they need in one spot. You don't want to have them running to your Instagram or to your Facebook or to your Twitter or to your YouTube. Have a website, djwhatever.com, and have everything in one spot. My website is very simple. It's a home page, it's a booking page, it's calendar, it's media. It gives you everything you need so you don't have to leave off of my website. And that is very key, because a lot of these people are so busy trying to book these events and put everything into place that they're not going to have the time to go through all of your links to see what it is you're doing. So get a website and keep it all in one place. Make sure when you buy the website, you set up the email address. Make sure it's your name at thewebsite.com. Like mine is contact@spingriffy.com. You can make it your name at yourdjname.com, but definitely make sure you have a website, so it's very easy for these people to be able to have everything they need in one spot. Number 5. This one is super important, and it probably should have been number 1, but you got to get your business essentials right. Corporate clients aren't sliding you cash at the end of the night. You'll need a W-9 for taxes and a business bank account to get paid. You'll also need to have insurance for a lot of these high-end venues. Remember, it's not just a gig, it's a business. I can't tell you how many times I've seen DJs not book gigs because they don't have the proper paperwork. They're expecting these high-end companies to send them money via Cash App or Zelle. It does not work like that. They have taxes they need to have records of. You're an independent contractor, and because of that, you need to have your business together. So you need to have a business bank account. You need to register your business with whatever state you're in and get a tax ID number. You need to have a W-9 on file that you can send to these places easily when they ask for it. Another thing is make sure you have a stage plot writer. So if they book you out and they'll provide the sound for you, and all you got to do is bring your board and laptop, they know what it is that you need. So I'll post a sample of what my stage plot is so you guys can see that, but definitely do that. And just remember, it is a business. Make sure you guys get insurance as well. I use Insurance Canopy. It's like $22 a month. But once you start getting in a lot of these buildings and some of these high-end, bigger venues, where you're starting to talk about these 5-star hotels, these convention centers, they're not going to take the liability. You're going to need to have insurance. You're going to need to show proof of insurance that if anything goes bad, you have the means to cover it. So definitely look into all that. This is super key. If you want to get into the corporate DJing world, make sure you have your business right. Again, these people are not going to pay you cash at the end of the night. They're not going to Zelle you. They're not going to Cash App you. They might PayPal you. That's still something that is going to happen down the road. Another thing is that you need to be comfortable with net 30. A lot of these places are still doing net 30. So even after you do the gig, you might not see money for another month. I did a New Year's Eve gig, knocked out the gig. It was a substantial sum, but they had already let me know ahead of time that it is a net 30, and the 30 doesn't start until you have even performed the services. There are other ways you can do it. A lot of my corporate clients, And with the weddings I do, you need 50%, especially when you're booking so far out that I'm going to have to tell other people they can't have this date because you've locked it in. I need that deposit and that peace of mind to know I've already locked it in and I'm not just holding a date for nothing. Another thing you want to do, get you a QuickBooks account. That is super, super important. I have a self-employed QuickBooks account, and it does everything for me. Like, I can send my invoices from one spot. I can check my bank account from that same spot. I can see all my transactions. It is phenomenal at the end of the year when taxes come up. Number 6, MC skills. This isn't something you particularly need to be good at, but it is something that will help you book more of these corporate gigs. Not every corporate DJ needs to be on the mic, but being able to make announcements or hype up a crowd without being corny, that is a skill that can set you apart and boost your rate. A lot of these events, they're gonna give you what the event is, like maybe something you have to say every so often. I did an event with Tom's for the Super Bowl. They gave me a script. I had to go over that script, I think like every 30 minutes. I had to announce what the event was, what we were doing, why we're here. We played trivia during that event too, so I had to go over trivia questions. If you're not comfortable on the mic, you need to get comfortable, because though it is optional, it is a part of doing a lot of these corporate events that you're going to have to make announcements. So you need to be able to enunciate well. You need to be comfortable on the mic. It's just something that comes with these corporate events, man. Number 7, adaptability. You need to be able to adjust your playlist on the fly as the event vibe shifts. Stay calm and smooth. Look, schedules change, speakers run long, the vibe flips unexpectedly. A great corporate DJ knows how to pivot without missing a beat. So you need to be flexible, be ready. When you're doing a lot of these corporate events, you're usually on a schedule. Sometimes the speaker is going to start later than they were supposed to, or they might run over in their time. So like you might have went from having to play 30 minutes, and all of a sudden you've got to get kind of the vibe shifted, and now you're doing it in 8. You got 8 minutes. You need to know your library. You need to have the ability to adapt. It is so key that you have versatile crates and you know your music. You know what it's going to take. You can scan a room, read the crowd, and know what this crowd is wanting and what it's going to take to get them onto the dance floor. Now, one of the things about corporate events, especially, is that it's usually you're dealing with like a lot of people who are employees of that company. Now, sometimes some people just don't want to let loose with their coworkers. Is what it is. That doesn't stop you. You need to go out and rock the party. So be adaptable, try whatever it is, whatever it takes to get those people onto the dance floor. This isn't on my list, but this is like one of the keys. Number 8 is network, man. Me becoming a corporate DJ is the fact that I've networked with people, and it's really luck and happenstance. I got on with the Pels because the person they called couldn't do it. I was standing right next to him and was like, oh, I can do it. And that turned into, I'm in year 3 with the Pels. And the other thing is that it's word of mouth. So if you're doing these corporate events, the person that books you is somebody else might either be in the room, or you do such a great job, you're automatically recommended. Or you get repeat business because you were so good at that event. The next time they do it, they're automatically going to call you, because a lot of these people don't have a wide network of DJs that they can pull from. So it is very important. Like, even if somebody's at a company and say they're no longer at that company in 3 years, they might go to another company, need a DJ. You're the first one on their mind because you did such a great job at an event you had done for them prior. So it all comes down to you being professional, you being on your stuff, and you being able to talk, to network, and build these relationships and rapport with these people, because then the person that books you might just recommend you to somebody else. Or you're in a venue and somebody at that venue, you give them a card and you held it down, and they'll recommend you to somebody as well. So look, corporate DJing isn't just about spinning tracks. It's about running your brand like a business. Show up prepared, stay professional, and the gigs and the bag will come. I go by the name of Spin Griffey. This is the Joe's Blend YouTube page. We will be giving out more videos like this. They're coming. I got a bunch of ideas. I'm trying to sit down and actually find the time to record, edit, and post. I appreciate you guys for watching. If you haven't already, like and subscribe to this video. Follow us on Instagram at Joe's Blend, JOCEBLEND, and I'll holler at you guys later. Peace.